As winter began to settle over the city, Sho gazed up at the gray sky. Thoughts of gratitude and service circulate, eventually returning to oneself. The sense of cycle he had felt in the forest had become a clear, tangible reality. But one difficult challenge remained: human relationships. There was that colleague he struggled with. One day he found himself gazing at houseplants in a greenhouse. The plants growing side by side differed in shape and in the way their leaves spread. Some were even positioned in ways that made them compete for light. And yet they all took root in the same soil, bathed in the same light, and breathed the same air. Nature isn't made up of only those who like each other. It simply exists through mutual respect. At that moment, a realization began to take root: to adopt an attitude of letting the other live. It wasn't about forcing oneself to get along, nor about suppressing who one is. If thoughts are energy, then the feeling "I dislike you" creates waves of division. But perhaps the thought, "even if I can't understand you, we can still respect each other," becomes an energy that softens conflict. The next day, he found himself at odds with that same colleague. But the colleague, too, was trying in his own way to improve the research. The moment Sho realized that, the way he chose his words began to change. That perspective is interesting. There are points worth considering. Here's how I see it. The atmosphere softened slightly. They didn't fully understand each other, but the conflict shifted into dialogue. That night, Sho understood. To become one with nature is to keep the cycle flowing. A mindset that allows others to thrive, love, and a spirit of altruism. It may not be some grand act of self-sacrifice, but rather a quiet will to acknowledge one another and coexist. Everything converges into a single question: what kind of energy do I give off? The experiment of seeking that answer continues even today.